Item 9, inform the board that Commissioner Lockley received complaints that IGA was closing their Duke Energy pay station. I contacted Mr. Danny Collins of Duke Energy and explained that this pay station was the only one in the county. Mr. Collins informed me that he is working with their third-party vendor and they hope to have a resolution in the coming weeks. Duke Energy doesn't select the locations for pay stations, but realize the importance of maintaining a pay station in Franklin County. The pay station located at IGA will remain open as Duke Energy work with their vendor on this issue. Problem was, the vendor is a third-party vendor that manages this for Duke, and the vendor wanted IGA to, if I get it correctly, update either their software or their hardware, the computer hardware, at their cost.
At IGA's
At
cost?
IGA's cost,
They're not gonna do that.
but remain, giving them that small percentage of each bill that they collect. So the IGA was like, we can't afford this, not based on what we're making here, so.
I know at one time when we had a couple of pay stations throughout the county, they was not getting but $1 per customer
Mhm.
for doing it. So it's not really a lot of money into it, it's just providing the services that
To the people, yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
be
they-
provided.
They wanted them people to put in a new machine, new software, throw them out of their pocket. And they the one who's getting the money.
You don't blame them from trying, do you?
I'll keep the board
They
updated.
hurt, they hurt everybody
I know
else.
it.
I'll keep the board updated on that situation, let you guys know. Item 10, inform the board that Mr. Patrick Kelly is asking the board to consider a request to extend the hours at Harry A's from Memorial Day weekend to Labor Day weekend. Mr. Kelly would like to stay open until 1 a.m., which is 1 hour longer from Sundays through Thursdays. Based on ordinance 89-14, Harry A's is allowed to stay open until 2 a.m. on Fridays, Saturdays, and specific holidays. A copy of the ordinance is attached. And I kind of wrote that the ordinance covers all our, it's not just for Harry A's, it's, it's for serving. But based on the email from Attorney Schuler, I think we'd have to amend that ordinance if we want to consider this.
So we have to have a public hearing?
Yes,
Is that what
yes,
we're trying to do?
The ordinance
Yes, you
basically
have to
lock,
authorize a public hearing to consider an amendment to extend the hours of operation.
and it won't be just for Harry A's, it'll be for
It would
everybody.
be countywide.
Yeah,
That's correct.
countywide.
What the hours now?
Well, right now,
He's still,
you've got two time periods. The general rule of thumb is alcohol sales stop at midnight. But on weekends and certain designated holidays such as Christmas, New Year's, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, and Thanksgiving, they can serve until 2 a.m., between midnight and 2 a.m. So they get an additional 2 hours. I think what I'm hearing in this request, they want you to consider, I guess what we would loosely term as during the season, the tourist season, to extend the hours of operation so that it doesn't stop at midnight, it stops at 1 a.m. That's what I'm hearing.
Mr. Kelly is here to speak.
Mr. Kelly,
Oh.
speak your name into the
No.
mic.
Patrick Kelly, General Manager of Harry A's Restaurant. What we're looking at is, right now, during the weekday, Sunday through Thursday, we have to close at midnight during the tourist season. And I'm constantly having to ask people to leave at midnight that still want to be on vacation and enjoy the evening. So what I'm looking at is from Memorial to Labor Day to be able to stay open until 1 o'clock during the week. Right now, we can stay open to 2 o'clock during the weekend. The day before a holiday, we can stay open till 2 a.m. The day of the holiday, we can't. So July 4th, we would have to close at midnight, but the Sunday before, we would be able to stay open till 2. I believe that's the way it's written. Memorial Day, we close. The day before Memorial, we're allowed to stay open to 2 a.m. Apalachicola isn't ruled under the county. They can stay open, they have ordinance where they can stay open to 1 o'clock during the week. I'm just looking to do the same thing for the island or Franklin County, because we're ruled under the county ordinance and not a city ordinance.
I'd like to make a motion to have a public hearing on the issue. Is that the procedure?
Yes, sir. I'll need to get some direction from the board in terms of the length of time, if y'all want me to draft this ordinance for your consideration to the 1 o'clock time period, correct?
I think for the summer season, if the ordinance was done in 1989, that's been a while since we've had
Yes.
it. And we have a lot more tourists now, so it's a good business move.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
At the last meeting, Commissioner Watson asked for an update on the shooting range. Officer Richards, Chase Richards, stated that with the assistance of both Franklin County and the City of Appalachia's Public Work Department, the site has 3 partially completed ranges, 2 50-yard ranges and a 100-yard range. There are plans to add a 4th range for longer distances. As additional progress is made, Officer Richards will attend a meeting to update the board.
Thank you.
Finally, inform the board that the National Association of Counties, NACO, is preparing for the 81st Annual Conference to be held July 22nd to the 25th in Los Angeles County, California. At this conference, there will be an annual election of officers and policy adoption. In order for Franklin County to participate in the election and the policy adoption, our membership dues must have been paid, which they are, not a problem there, and have at least 1 paid registrant for the conference, according to NACO bylaws. Are there any commissioners interested in attending this conference?
I need to ask the question. I thought at one point in time, we were able to give our vote to like the Florida Association of Counties to vote it for us.
I could double check that and see. if-
Check with the association and see, because I know at one time, I mean, I know there's one of us out here that would go because Brian Deloge is gonna be sworn in as president of the National Association of Counties, and he's from Leon County, property owner here in Franklin County at St. Teresa, and I know somebody that really wants to go. But I'm just saying, if no one wants to go, then ask back
I will.
how we would do that, because I think one time before, we had a similar situation, and we were able to give that vote to the association.
Okay. So they voted proxy for you, but.
Okay.
What is that? Oh, that's, I'm checking up my phone?
It's one of them.
I got it. Thank you. Okay, not on my report, but I have a question for you guys. 3 of you went to the ethics class in South Choppy. How was it?
Excellent.
It was good.
It was good.
It was real good.
Yeah, 3 of us went.
And
Okay.
I want to put in for my travel and the other 2 with me.
We enjoyed it.
I make a motion that we get travel going.
'Cause, I'd like to send a letter of thanks to, if you guys
Oh,
enjoyed
yeah.
it.
I'll make a motion, we'll go ahead and include that in there, Mr. Noah. Make a motion that we send the city of Stop Choppy and attorney Daniel Cox a thank you letter for including that.
Okay.
And also to be able to include the travel for the commissioners that had to go.
And tell him he's done a good job. He's done a
He
real
did.
good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But I
I'll-
know he did a good job.
I'll tell them include us in that every time they have that class, because then you guys could go there instead of having to go an extra day to wherever the FAC conference
Well,
is.
and see, that was
Well-
gonna cause a dilemma, like we were talking,
Well, I wanna, before we do that, before we ask him to do it, once he do, Michael wanna do it for you.
Oh,
I appreciate that, thank you very much. If it's already a set-up schedule and it's been going on for years, I don't see any need for me to horn in. I'm perfectly content.
All right.
Okay, if you
I
okay
just didn't
with me.
I just didn't wanna look over.
No, I appreciate that, thank you, Mr. Noel.
Okay.
who knows, maybe I can twist Dan's arm and he might come here to do it once in a while, so.
And all you have?
We ain't made, did we do the, did we vote?
No, we didn't vote on that motion.
On which one?
The one,
Okay,
sending the
yeah,
letter of
okay.
thanks and the travel.
Oh, I made a motion.
Who made the second? Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Uh,
All opposed? Motion carries.
One more thing, Commissioners, I'm here thinking that because of the rain yesterday. A couple of months ago, you guys had asked me and Attorney Schul to sit with a representative from the Butler family and a neighboring property owner that had a complaint about it. I basically couldn't get them together. But the more I looked into the situation, Commissioners, I think it's not about the ditch. I think there's more to it than that. Cliff Butler has asked that him and the neighboring person meet without the county getting involved. He thinks that they can work it out on their own. And I just want to make sure you guys are okay with that, because that'll be going indifferent to your motion that you passed a couple months ago.
They need to work it out, because both of, I was out there early at 6:30 this morning.
I
She
was out
come
there
in behind me, there's no water out there.
So we're thinking it's something else besides
Yeah,
that.
there's
but-
something else, Clifton can handle it with him.
And that's my motion that I made, so I'll direct you. Let Mr. Butler and the adjacent property owner try to work it out. I know what the problem is. I have a feeling what the problem is.
Okay,
And it's not the ditch, it's something else. So, Mr. Butler, you are,
I'm here, and
Oh,
my name has
hey.
been addressed in this issue. I'm Cliff Butler, it's my mother's estate's property, and I met with Mr. Marone after that motion was passed, addressing our name about the meeting, and I was told that the county engineers went out and looked at it, and there was no drainage problem. So I guess, and my brother has called you several times, Commissioner Sanders, and you've not returned his call, so he's not able to find out.
oh, I didn't know he called me.
Well, he's called on numerous occasions since this last motion got passed, and left messages for you to return his call. He lives part-time here and part-time in Georgia. I just really want to know what the problem is, because the problem I see on the other end of the property, my property is being flooded sometimes because the inflow for a drain is higher than our property. So when it drains, before it starts going into the drain, it goes on our property and floods that. So there's a flooding problem. It's a problem caused by county work on our property, not by a ditch that goes through private property.
Well, we're trying to, let the two parties work it out right now, and that's what I would really rather do. As far as, phone calls from your brother, I'm not aware that your brother called me. If he did call me and I didn't return his call, I apologize for that. I have not been privileged to any phone calls. I do have a secretary, but he is 71 years old, and sometimes he does forget things. But, and I'm thankful for him every
Well,
day.
I
But
don't
Mr.
think-
Butler, there's not a problem with the county and you all. The problem came from this individual that said he had a problem with y'all. And he said, he told Mr. Marone to start out with, it was because of the ditch. Am I not right?
That's exactly what he
Well, we know now it's not the ditch, okay? That's what we're trying to get it together. And if there's a problem with something else, then that's for you and him to get together.
Well, we can get together, but if the problem is he wants to park on our property and use our property, I don't think any of y'all would want to let other people use your
That's right.
property any
Nothing
way
to
they
do
want
with me,
to.
y'all.
That has
handle that
nothing to do
out.
with, that has
That's
nothing to do with
exactly
the
what
county.
that's
That's
what
what
we're
I'm trying
saying.
to get.
You come parking on my property, you won't be there long.
That's right.
What's that?
Well, and that's what I'm trying to get to without saying too much about it, because the attorney always warns us to be careful what we say in public, and that's what I'm saying. It's not the issues with the ditch. The gentleman apparently has the issue that you just mentioned.
Well, you know,
So-
what's the solution to it? Maybe
I
y'all
don't-
could pass
that's
a
for- that's for
resolution saying,
y'all.
maybe y'all could pass a resolution saying that he can't park on our property, and then that will solve the
That's
issue.
that's for
That-
you all. That's for you all to decide.
We
and
can't stop, I mean,
we
we can't do
we
that.
can't
The
solve
county
that kind
can't
of
stop him
problem.
parking on your property.
Well, then, would you please quit asking Mr. Barone to get with me about the problem, because he's not gonna go away, and I guess unless we take our fence down and let him use our property.
well, that's what we just did, sir. They basically said we're not getting involved in that
Okay.
situation anymore.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
That's
We're
pretty
through
much
with
it.
it. Thank you, Mr. Cliff.
And that was my report, Commissioner. I have nothing else for you guys, unless you guys have something else.
I do.
Mr. Clay Smallwood, you come up front for just a
Oh,
moment.
yes. Oh, yes. Did you must have been reading my mind, or reading my
I've been
notes.
on
more.
the phone with Clay quite regularly.
Clay, what do we do now?
Did you get that sent to him?
Did.
Okay, and he said that, he'd start on that side this week or something?
He did not say when he would start, but he's got it. So
Oh, I know,
it's
I
on
kept
him.
telling him you had it, and I don't know
Right,
what.
it's on them
so
too,
I
so.
know.
Okay. I'm gonna ask the question then. I've got two issues with you. One of them was C.W. Roberts, and I'm gonna bring it. What in the world's going on with them, Clay?
In terms of where they're working,
No, it's the work. It's the work. I thought that they were supposed to be, when was the contract? did they mention by June 1st they would be out of Franklin County, be done and over with and out of Franklin County?
I believe their contract technically ends at the end of June, but they did make some representation that they anticipated finishing early. I do remember that. The exact date they said they'd finish early, I don't know.
So they
By
might be a
contract, they
month
have to the end
early.
of the
Yeah,
month.
so they might be a month early.
I don't think
or
so.
something.
Well, they don't get that for that. But can you stay on top of them a little bit and see what the problem is? Because I have not even seen them. And then y'all don't even want to know, on Elder Street out there at Lenore, I went by there, they dug that big old hole and got all that stuff out of there. That road's been there for years and years and years. Then they put this sticky tar stuff on it. They had to end up going out there and moving it off because it was getting all over the people's cars and stuff. I'm telling you, I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all with this.
You know what that's called? A pleasing stamp. That's just right there and please you for a little while.
It didn't please me, it makes me mad. But anyway, and then the other thing is, I've been approached by the owner of, the owner now of apparently Cormay Road out there on Highway 67 out of Carabel. And he kind of approached me, he said he's approached the planning and zoning department, and they said it needed to come before the commission and the commissioners. And he kind of wanted to kind of allude to the fact that maybe the county can take it over. And I told him that there were standards to go by in order for the county to take over roads. And we've already had several roads up here that we've decided not to take over because of the conditions of the road and all, especially Hickory Hammock out there north of Carabel also. And I would just like to send the engineer, if you all don't mind, I would like to direct it through the meeting, through a motion, to direct Clay to go out there and look and give a cost estimate of bringing that Cormay Drive up to standards. That does not obligate the county whatsoever. I know one of the property owners who's already put asphalt on that road, and they've already invested the money into putting asphalt on there, and thinking that it's a private road and all, and I have a real concern over that. So, if you all don't mind, I'm gonna make a motion that we direct Clay Smallwood to go out there and to do some engineer work and contact the owner of the road and see what we can do. The county does not need to take over any roads if there's any questions about it like that, but at the same time, the school buses are having a hard time going in there. Didn't you say somebody?
I said either we're gonna have to do a one-time fix on that road, we're gonna have to get up to the school board, Michael.
Which road?
Cormay Road, the school bus, if they haven't picked 11 children up on this road, they have to go down it, because that younger can't stand on Highway 67, that earth does, it's gonna be a mess. And we gotta get it with the county, you can call them, see if they want to pay it to have it done, somebody to fix it, or we can do a one-time fix, because the school bus goes down, when it goes down, it's just dragging and the tires are sitting there spinning, so we had to go out and push it out.
I'll second the motion. And
Come back
Come back
with something for us.
You know, something for us that a one-time fix, or the county, or the school board can pay to have it fixed, because it's gotta be fixed. I mean, it's a road that if people live on, our Franklin County school buses tore it all up. I mean, it's tore it up. And the people had fixed the road and paid big money to have it fixed, and this demolished the road. So I got a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
I have a question too. What remains to be done on the contract? I don't think they've done the road at St. George.
They've got, I actually sent them an email yesterday with the list of roads that we think they haven't done yet. And there was 13 or 14 on there. First Street on the
Right.
island, certainly
Okay.
one of those, and then quite a number of them in Commissioner Lockley's district, and a couple of the parking lots, the estuary parkings in there. So there were 13 or 14
Okay.
things they still needed to do.
I wanna get with you after the meeting first.
Okay.
Thank you, Clay.
Yes, sir.
Have any public comment? All right, Mr. Pfeiffer.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank Alan Pfeiffer, Concerned Citizens, Franklin County. I want to thank everybody today for their scrutiny of the Weems situation, but I think a few minutes is probably necessary. You know, an animal when it's hurt when it's wounded probably gets more dangerous than any time. You heard half a story today, maybe less than half a story. Now these are good people, you know, so there's no disparaging anybody here. Everybody comes to us today is a good person with good intent. What they told a half story, whether that was intentional or not, I don't know. TMH is owed approximately $300,000. Accounts payable is in excess of $400,000. They owe the county for the healthcare trust fund approximately $800,000. The monthly expenses of the hospital are approximately $450,000 to $500,000. You know, when they talk about money coming in, that money first has to go to paying the day-to-day operation of the hospital. We don't know what will happen next week, today, next month. That will be the next emergency that takes money out. Today, another shoe is dropped that the radiological equipment is going to have to be replaced with all digital. This is not trivial. This is a big-time expense. Medicare came out with a ruling, CMS came out with a ruling last week that I got a copy of, that I'll forward to the commissioners, that all hospitals are going to have to go backwards 3 years and proactively look for missed billings. And those missed billings are going to be penalized at the rate of 3 times the cost of the rebilling, plus a fine from $250 to $11,000 per occurrence. If things collapse, they're going to collapse very fast. And the county is on the hook right now for over $1 million, plus any termination charges to the hospital to fix this. We're kind of back where we were, what was it, Desai, the original contractor for the hospital before the county started operating it again? Desai. We've got better management now, but the same economic issues that existed then exist now. There's a lot of balls in the air, and I don't want this to fall on the commissioners at one fell swoop, and that's all it would take, is if another $400,000 or $500,000 was pulled back by CMS, which is not out of the possible realm of possibility. There's a lot going on. I think it needs closer scrutiny. All the factors need to be put on the table, and instead of picking and choosing and saying that, for argument's sake, well, this week we are only dealing with one issue. All the issues have to be taken in totality. Look at that balance sheet. Look how it continues to grow. The amount of money owed continues to grow month after month. This is something that I think is going to come to a crisis point. This has nothing to do with talking about the new hospital. It deals with the totality of where we are and what's going to go on. I'm very, very concerned. I think the county commission is concerned. I can tell that in your voices. But let's not wait till one day when they can't make payroll. And not only can they not make payroll, but they can't buy supplies. They're on perhaps on COD with some vendors now, and that may or may not be true. I've been told both is possible, but we do owe a tremendous amount of money, and that money is growing every single month, month after month after month. And I just don't want that to be left not said today. Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Thank you, Alan. Any more public comments? Any more public comments?
Good afternoon. I'm Dorothy Bless from the Lanark Village Association in Lanark Village. I'm hoping that with some of this restore money or some way with matching funds, we can get our trash in Lanark Village and Caravel taken care of. We've been trying to work with FWC, and we've still got trash all up and down our roads. We look like a dumping station for the county over there right now.
It's everywhere, Ms.
I
Dot.
agree with you, Ms. Dot. They drive
It's
down the
downward.
road and dump it on the side of my house from down the road.
It's a shame.
I know it.
They dump
Any
it
more
everywhere.
public comments? Meeting adjourned.